Continuing on. So this person wrote insanely large thing. I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's like 400 pages. I'm just going to summarize. Number 1, shorten your podcast by 2/3 its length. Focus more on gaming. It's the aspect of your streams people are there to see the most. It's the place you most likely get support. That's completely untrue, by the way. The level 1 podcast and daily rap should be less combined than a single segment of the level 1 podcast is now. Mix in talking about your day with your gameplay and focus on the stuff that's super important in the podcast. So number 1, do what everyone else already does. And number 2, make it so that when I turn on a game, I'm talking about other unrelated shit that distracts from the game rather than talk about it in the podcast. No. It's a terrible suggestion. The reason I do a podcast is so we can get through these topics, right? Now, when I play Super Mario RPG, guess what we can actually do? Play Super Mario RPG and focus on the game. Yes, there'll be some discussions and side things, but mostly we'll be enjoying and playing the game. I can be immersed in it. Rather than I boot Super Mario RPG, and because I didn't do a podcast today, someone asked me a question about why don't I do charity streams. So now I spend 25 minutes explaining that instead of playing the game. If you don't see the benefit of having a dedicated show in the morning to talk about these topics, if you don't see that I actually have a dedicated viewer base who watch this show every day, it's like a habit for them, right? I wake up in the morning, I listen to the show, or I listen to it on the way to work, I listen to it during lunch break or whatever. I like the show because of that. I get news from it. I get to learn about Phil and his opinions and all this. And I get to learn about games and stuff. This is a show that has a following. Just because you don't like it, because you like streamers who talk about personal shit during gameplay, do you not understand how different I am from other streamers? So what you want is, Phil, please just change and be like everybody else. No. But thanks for the suggestion. Mix in smaller games with popular new releases while moving into the Halloween season. Now be the perfect time for a game like World of Horror and Indie. No one even knows what you're talking about. What the hell is World of Horror? Again, these are personal preferences of a person. Instead of saying, here's some really good generalized suggestions that would improve your content, here's specifically what my demands are to improve your content right now. Be like a streamer I already like. Play the indie games that they're playing. No. Let's get to the next suggestions, because that was really fucking stupid. Okay. More gameplay and less react videos. Well, I wasn't even aware that I did a lot of react videos. Right? Did I do a lot of react? I mean, I do one stream a week of dedicated react content, correct? And yes, I did a lot of movie reviews in the month of October, which I guess could be considered react videos, right? This month, especially because I lost time being sick, I pretty much have only played games and then the little bit of reacting, right? So I did kind of refocus on gameplay this month. But there will be more. Like, for example, there's going to be a special Thanksgiving stuff. They're reacting to ads on Black Friday. So I'm shocked that someone is literally saying more gameplay, less react videos when I put out so few react videos. And the suggestion up to this year was do react content, do react content, do react content. So now I'm doing the react content. Don't do react content. Oh, so I see the pattern here. Just whatever you're doing is always wrong. And then when you start doing what we suggest, it's also wrong. Got it. Play Baldur's Gate 3. We've talked about that. I might in the future. Ignore the trolls. I'm absolutely trying to do my best with that. Okay. This is hilarious. Here's one. Stop begging. I know you don't think you are, but you are. Mention how people can contribute if they choose to only once in an entire stream. Only at the beginning of the stream. Leave it alone. Don't ever bring up goals. Don't ask for any contributions. Don't hint about it either. Because when you watch a television show, they only ever mention products at the very beginning. And then you just get uninterrupted content the entire television show. Right? Right? When you're watching a 5-hour broadcast, you're expected to be there the moment the show starts to know how you can support that broadcast. Right? And if you're not, and you miss out on that, oh well, I guess I'm boned that you weren't there at the very first minute that you were there on the podcast. If the person had said, reduce the amount that you ask for contributions, I would have been like, okay, let's talk about that. Let's talk about balance. Let's talk about finding the happy medium, right? Let's figure that out. But literally, this person goes right to the extreme, right? No, you never can bring it up. Never can you do anything. What? Okay, how about this? Get rid of tiered goals. No one cares if you're going to put on a gunner glasses or a hat. Instead, do a goal along these lines. All right, let's see what this suggestion is. Maybe this is a good one. $100 in tips if you get in an... Wait. $100 in tips in an hour will get you an extra hour of streaming. How many times have I explained to you guys that I'm not a 20-year-old guy, I'm not single, I don't sit around at home all day with nothing to do, all right? This is my job, which I'm very dedicated to, and I spend the majority of my day doing. I spend far more time in this office streaming and uploading and working than I do with my family, all right? As it is, on any given day, I probably get to see my wife 2 hours, if that. In a 24-hour day, I see my wife for like 2 hours, and maybe every once in a while around the house in between, but we get about 2 hours to spend together in a given day. I get 1 day a week that I'm supposed to be spending off of streaming. Guess what I do? Grocery shopping, going to get pet supplies, going to the doctor, going to an appointment or a legal appointment, seeing lawyers, all this shit that I've always had to do, I have to do on my 1 day off a week, all right? So now what you want me to do is abolish the goals that are silly and easy to do, you know, toss on some glasses or put on a hat of your choice to be a little silly with my audience. And instead of doing things that are reasonable, because they're things that I could do within the confines of the insane amount of time that I'm already working and streaming, you want me to take away even more of the time that the little time that I have with my family, okay? The definition of what you just said is called entitlement. It's called that because you think that you've contributed to a stream that you can now dominate my entire life. Now again, when I was younger, I sat around and I made gameplay videos sometimes for 14 to 16 hours a day. I would pump out a game within 2 days, all right? That was unhealthy. I was not happy. I was fat. I was drunk. I was stupid. I was a workaholic. I had no work-life balance at all. Maybe because you are an entitled viewer, you think that that's a valid like request. It is if it's someone who's young and they're willing to give up all of their personal time and efforts for their work. I'm 41 years old and I have a family life now. I have a responsibility to my family to actually spend time with them to keep a household running. This suggestion is incredibly ludicrous. It's so unreasonable that I'm actually now going to skip the rest of your suggestions because the first two ones were incredibly stupid. Wow. Let's continue. I mean, wow. That's really impressive stuff right there. I'm really glad that we're going through these. Okay. See, here's the difference is there's some people who can say, like, I would say the charity suggestion was a good one. It was worth going through because what I could do is I could explain to you guys, right, what's going on and why I can't really do that like other streamers or things, what in my belief system, why my trolls would ruin it anyway. That was good. Like, I'm happy we went through that. But then when you get to this stuff, these aren't suggestions. You understand? These are demands. Be like everyone else I already like. Play all the games that other people are already playing that I already like. Don't ever ask for a contribution or explain how to contribute to your streams whatsoever. Huh? Even giant megala corporations that run fucking TV, movies, music, YouTube channels themselves don't do that. But I'm supposed to be held to these ridiculous fucking standards. No, you're an idiot. I'm not going to entertain your fucking stupidity. That's really dumb. Like, holy shit. Oh my god. Anyway. We got time for one more, and then we're going to get to shout-outs, okay? We got one more suggestion here. Hold on a second. Hold on a second, because I moved my window around and screwed everything up. Okay, I believe shorts are a lot more popular now than they were when they were first launched. I think a focus on shorts again, like the channel had when they first launched, would help bring the channel to a newer audience, or maybe bring back in some older fans through the algorithm. It's an idea. And then someone responded, you're right, I think this thread is perfect for suggesting moments to turn into shorts. My problem with shorts is thus, all right? You may not realize this, but this is true. Most people on YouTube who have a focus on shorts, first of all, are much bigger than me, to be honest. And they have people who work on that for them. They have an editor or someone who literally will go through their content for that day sometimes taking in suggestions from viewers to say, what would you like to see a short of? And then they break out shorts from the content. Okay? I am here from, like 10 in the morning till 10 to 11 at night with a 2-hour break for dinner. All right? During that time frame, I'm streaming an incredible amount of content. Sometimes we'll have a notable moment during a stream, and I'll be like, wow, that was a good moment. Everyone will be like, oh, I'll make a short out of that. Okay, great. Within an hour, I've forgotten about it because I'm doing the rest of the stream. You know what I mean? It's a moment in time that's great to do then, but then it's lost, right? So you're right. I think what I could do, perhaps, to get suggestions for things like shorts is have a submission system where people would be able to, on a daily basis, say, oh, man, something funny just happened on Phil's stream. Let me suggest that for a short, and maybe have a thread where you post that up. You say, hey, here's a short that happened during Phil's Call of Duty stream. It was a really funny moment that happened. I'd like to see that as a short. Oh, man, Phil was playing Super Mario RPG, and, this funny commentary he did, or you got a funny comment from a viewer and he responded, this should be a good short. And if I have a few suggestions a day, then I could, focus in on that and say, okay, here's maybe 1 or 2 that are good. And either I could work on it, or I could see if there's people out there who'd be willing. I've had people who've been willing to work on shorts for me, but I need the suggestions. My problem is I'm so busy getting through games and streaming and doing this all day long. I don't remember the suggestion. I don't even remember the notable moments, because for me, it's just another day. I'm literally playing so much. It's like when people say to me, so what is your favorite game of the year? What was your favorite moment in a playthrough this year? In the last 5 years, what was the best platformer you played? Or this or that. And I'm like, dude, you have to understand that my mind is a jumble. I'm here all day, every day playing games and everything. I don't really remember this stuff. When you guys bring it up, I remember it. If you bring up that highlight, hey, remember this that happened in this playthrough, this glitch that happened in this one, that I remember. But I don't just I can't. I'm already, again, if I was someone who was a big popular YouTuber who had 1 million views within a week, and I had big money and I could hire someone to be my editor, and this person just sits there in my content, they have access, to all my content, and they could sit there and field suggestions, and immediately when something funny happens on the stream, highlight it. And then at the end of the stream, let me go. I'm going to break it out. I'm going to make that short. I'm going to toss that out there. I'm going to name it with a clickbait title and all of that shit that everyone does on YouTube, right? But I don't have that capability to do it myself. I'm a one-man army, right? I do have help. I want to say this. Shout out to the people who help me. There's lots of people. My moderation team. There are people who make art for me, animations for me. There's people who make shorts for me. All this stuff. I really appreciate that, because you see this whole thing right here? Like, no exaggeration, what you see here is the end result of a community. It's not the end result of one man. This is the end result of a community working together to make my streams look this good. Do you understand? And I appreciate that very, very much, okay? But you have to understand that I have limitations. Like, I like the suggestion, but the suggestion works for someone who has a team of people working for them who can make shorts and break it out of their content every day. I don't have that capability. I don't have time for that. I'm already here too much, you see? Plus, I don't remember. Like I said, that's the other problems, too. So, if anyone has an idea how to make that work, I'm all ears. I would love to hear suggestions on how to make that work. That would be feasible. I don't have the ability to do that. I'm sorry. I like the charity suggestion was valid. Had to explain why I can't do it that way, right? This suggestion is completely valid. It's just that, sadly, I don't have the means to do it like other bigger people. Because, again, I guarantee you the people that this person's talking about are big streamers, big content creators. And they make a fucking short and it gets 20, 30,000 views, right? So it benefits their channel. I make a short, it gets a couple hundred views to 1,000. And that's if I even remember what the funny short was. And I submit, have someone work on it for me. You know what I mean? Like, just, it's not as easy as people think. People do think that everything is in life is so easy. It's not. At all. This kind of stuff, it's, for someone like me, again, the difference here is that people just think I'm the same as everyone else. I'm literally couldn't be further from everyone else out there who's a content creator. You have to understand that. Even people who you think are my contemporaries. No, I've always been different. I'm a one-man show. I do all this shit myself, right, every day. And if I'm very grateful for the help that I get from the people who help me every day, because I wouldn't even be as good as I am without the help that I get. But I'm stretched thin. I really am. It's very hard for me to do anything outside of the realm of what I'm already doing, because I'm already here 6 days a week, all day, full time, You know, how do I have time? Yeah, if I had 3 more extra hours every day, I would scour my streams and videos to find the funny shorts moments and break them out and make shorts out of them.